So basically, let's do this. What question would somebody have if you want to ask AI? Something you really want an answer to, but you don't know the answer right now. Something complicated even. Nobody? All right, somebody give me your website.
FirstEnergyCorp.com.
Everybody's scared now, like, I don't want you doing anything. So let's do this. We're gonna say, it'll take just a second to come up. Just something simple. Tell me about, what was it?
FirstEnergy.
And even if I spell wrong, it'll figure it out. All right, let's see what it has to say. I don't know anything about FirstEnergy Corp. Look how fast it is. And you can read this and I guarantee you it's absolutely accurate. And I didn't pre-program this. I didn't know you were gonna ask me that. This is the beauty of intelligent AI. I now have a breakdown of that company, what it does, very succinct, like an elevator pitch. And then I can go in here and say anything. Tell me when they were founded. November 7th, 1996, the merger of Ohio Edison. And you know how long it would have took me to figure all that out searching the internet through the junk you get. Now, here's where it gets better. I need to introduce Bob to, and I just leave all my typos because it's smart enough to figure it out, to FirstEnergy Corp. Please type a bulleted email to him. How long would this take you all to do? It takes me forever because I have to be very succinct and very careful about what I write. Look at this. This is a better email than anybody in this room can write. I promise you, it's done. Okay, so I don't like it. I don't like it. Let's make it more concise and friendly. It knows what I mean. Bam, certainly. Here you go. So now we're, hey Bob, right? Hope you're doing great. Got some exclamation points in there. And it doesn't sound like a machine wrote it at all, in any way. If you've gotten an email from me in the last year that's very detailed like this, it was written by ChatGPT. I wrote the content, most of it, if it's content that I needed to put in there. Well look, it's perfect. Birthed in '96, covers 6 million customers, boasts a vast electric system, prides itself on safety, reliability, and being top notch, trades under the ticket for FE on the New York Stock Exchange. Does that all sound right? Done. This is where it comes into the real world, and we can really use it powerfully. So, and in your personal life, it's great too. I want to take my wife to Paris. I need an itinerary. I spell itinerary. I have no idea. I'll just make it up. It's alright. It'll figure it out. I don't know how to spell. I don't even try. I don't try because of this. Look, it's building me an itinerary for a trip to Paris. Sorry if you're a travel agent in here. Don't kill me. Look at it, it's real, like this is validated. And then it will tell you where to research the information so you can go buy the tickets, you can get the plane tickets, you can do whatever.
Next question.
Sure.
So there's a lot of misinformation on the internet as well. Does it know how to decipher that out so that it's not giving you like bad information?
That's the reason they spent 3 years training it, to make sure. So basically what happens now, when you see this stuff, it'll say, sometimes you'll ask it something, it'll say, as of my last revision of December 23, this is my newest information. What happens is, basically they run a couple months behind. So like in December, they shut off the data set we're working on now. And a whole new data set is run. And from then until actually today is when the new one opens up. They've spent that 60 days scrubbing that old data set for bad information. So they take another AI computer and point it at this AI, and it figures out what's junk. Now again, it can still spit out erroneous information, but not in nearly the quantity that you would think, right? So I tell people, like, stuff like this is perfect. If I ask it to write code, I need to understand code to go back and fact check it, right? Because people have written some terrible code over the years. And so what I tell people is just, if you're asking it to do very high level things, make sure that you or somebody can at least read it and understand that it's giving you the facts, right? You still want a person, like I wouldn't hire somebody to write code that only knew how to use this and didn't know how to review the code. So you still have to have some knowledge, but stuff like this, it doesn't mess stuff like this up, right? It's actually going out and searching the billions of archives about people that have traveled there, about what current hotspots are. Like, it just probably grabbed 17 billion pieces of information to generate that itinerary in 15 seconds. That's the power of it. Again, look over here. So I've got the newest version of DALL-E that comes out today. What do you want to see a picture of? Somebody give me something that's just silly, crazy.
Waterfalls in Virginia.
Okay. Waterfalls in Virginia with monkeys. Oh, I didn't tell it to make a picture, sorry. Oh, here it goes, it's gonna do it anyway.
That's what Hunter Biden
So right now it's creating an image. This takes a little longer, but I promise you, it's not nearly as long as it would take any of us to do this, even if we were a graphic designer or a computer designer. It's already almost halfway through. And like I said, it had no prior knowledge of what I was doing. Like that's why I have you tell me, because I don't want to prove corrupt. And there you go. Some nice little apes hanging out around a Virginia waterfall. Never seen that before, have you? But look at the quality of that, right? I can go in and say, make it impressionist, like the impressionist artist. Make it cubist, make it graphic, make it deco, art deco. The crazy thing for this is if you need to generate images for your business and for marketing materials, dude, it's free.
So is this generated, or did it find images and pull them in and put it together?
No, that's generated. So all that, I'll show you how you know it is. So see above it, where it starts telling me all this, Virginia's known for diverse landscape, doesn't have any monkey populations. So as your question, it's smart enough to know that even though I said put monkeys at a Virginia waterfall, that's not a real thing, right? So it's telling me that's not real, but then it's saying I'm gonna make this image for you. Go ahead.
So, you know, there's a lot of pushback, especially with what you just did right now. And people are saying that when this creates this image, it's stealing art from other people to create that art. Is that not true?
No. So what it's doing, like, nobody's ever painted anything that looks like this. So what it's done is it has scanned images from all over the open internet, everything you can imagine, and inside of it, those images are turned into ones and zeros. It's turned into bit code. So it's never stored any single painting on earth or any single piece of art. It has then learned what is art supposed to be, what does that look like, and the way they fed that to it was with natural landscape pictures and all this, but all that original art is scrubbed out, because it's proprietary, they can't keep it, right? A lot of articles you see about this stuff don't really understand the technology, and then from there, from that bit code, it generates these images. Now the scary part of this for us is, you used to say, I only believe it when I see it. Don't do that. Don't believe what you see anymore. I've been doing this for almost 30 years. You can't trust anything now. There are deep fakes everywhere. There are deep fake high quality videos everywhere. I saw one the other day of a TV star in this horrible deep fake, and it's not them. It's not that person. It was completely generated by AI. They can do it to you, they can do it to me. Nothing on the internet is real anymore.
Do Trump and Biden playing pickleball?
If you hear anything, I tell you today, it's not.
What keeps it from being malicious?
It's got security features in the background. It will not produce porn. It will not, you can't get it to write bad scripts to attack people. Like, there's a lot of safeguards in it. The problem is, like anything, you can break that, right? So it's not supposed to be able to write malicious code for ransomware and cyber attacks. And they tell you it won't do it. Myself and an FBI agent that I know from LA's big unified district out there, the biggest FBI command center in the world, we were at a conference a year ago, almost to the day, and we sat down and made it write PowerShell scripts. What we did is, instead of asking it to write malware, we had it write a bunch of different scripts that looked very innocuous, and at the end we said, compile all these together. And it didn't know what we were doing, so it compiled them all together, and it compiled this beautiful piece of ransomware that could have attacked anybody. So you can trick it. One thing they haven't been able to figure out how to trick it to do is get it. This particular one, Dolly and ChatGPT, is why I tell people who don't know a lot about it to use this, because this one's not gonna spit out porn. It's not gonna spit out proprietary information, right? This one has a lot of checks and balances built into it. There's a million AI tools on the market right now. Don't just go grab them willy-nilly off the internet, right? This is now backed by Microsoft. We're running up against time. If you have, anybody that has a computer can go to Microsoft's Edge browser, right? Everybody hates it, nobody's used it for years. It's actually incredible now. It far surpasses Chrome, Firefox, any of them. Why? It's got Copilot built in. That's Microsoft's conversational AI. What's the back end of it? ChatGPT that I just showed you. So now, if I go up here and search in Microsoft's Edge browser, you see this little Copilot symbol in the corner? That's their ChatGPT. Now it's gonna search the web. I've got it plugged into our corporate environment, so it'll search all of our corporate documents for me, and then it'll spit out intelligent results based off that AI.
Does Google have something equivalent that is coming, obviously they would have.
Bard, B-A-R-D.
Okay.
The scariest, so most of them do, right? Google's got Bard, they've all got one. The scariest thing right now is what OpenAI just showed off last week. You might have seen it. It's got a few different names. They haven't said what they're gonna name it when it comes out. It is a video creation tool. It's terrifying. It can create the craziest deep fakes you've ever seen. It can take any picture, anything, and I can give it a picture of you and a picture of you and say, put these two in a ballroom dancing together and hugging on each other and being in love, and it will produce me a video that I could show anybody you know, and you would say, my God, I didn't know they did that. You see where the problem is, right? It's already been let out of the box too. It's unleashed. So the one thing we have to understand is we have to learn how to harness it the right way, right? And the beauty of it is, if you learn how to harness it the right way, you can use it to fight against the disinformation. How? Don't trust anything you read or see, right? Ever. Not on the internet. You can't. This is garbage right here. 99% of it's trash. But what you can do is if you have a fact set and you think this is a set of facts and information, you can take that into ChatGPT 4 and say, is this real? Research this for me. Tell me if this makes sense, right? Whether it's about stuff happening in other countries, stuff happening here. There's so many things. You gotta use it for what it can do.
For that video you just hypothetically created, could you load that into ChatGPT 4 and say, is this real?
Not as of present, but that's part of what they're doing with that Orpheus thing with the video. So the reason they haven't released it yet, that's a good question, is they're trying to figure out, now that we have the best video generator on the planet, how do we use that to find other deepfakes, right? Here's the problem, you would think it would be easy. All the data that shows you that it's a deepfake is in what's called metadata. It's the metadata in the background of the images. Well, you can create it with AI. You can scrub the metadata out of the back with AI and make it say, this was recorded on December 4th on a handy cam in Charleston. And so now there's no way, right? Because all the metadata has been ripped out, it's not there, so not even an AI can find it because somebody stripped it.
Do other countries have the same
Oh, absolutely.
technology with the computers and the
Absolutely. Some of them even like our
without
biggest.
safeguards?
Huh?
Without safeguards?
Oh yeah, China's got one of the biggest AI machines on the planet that they pointed at the United States to try to break through our defenses. I mean, I came from U.S. Cyber Command, so, and that was 20-some years ago. It's still, yeah, and they're neck and neck with us on building the world's first quantum computer. If you think AI is scary, don't go read about quantum, that'll terrify you. So basically now AI machines, and I'll wrap up, but if you wanna know where we're going next, because this isn't the end by any means. So what we figured out is now we're building quantum computers. Nobody's finished one yet. The quantum computer is based off quantum physics. I'm also a nuclear engineer, so I'm a physics nerd. Basically, quantum mechanics is the principle that you can have quantum entanglements. You can have something here, I can have this here, I can have this on Jupiter. If I quantum entangle them and do something here, it affects this. No strings attached, no communication, no anything. We've proven this works in the real world. There's dark matter takes up most of the universe now, and this is how it works. Now we're figuring out how to make computers work that way. So now the quantum computer won't have the same wires and things that happen inside of what happens now. It can do all the logical processes at the exact same time. We can't build a computer like that, but an AI computer can build a computer like that, and that's what's happening right now. Once that computer's built, nothing's secure on the planet anymore. Whoever has it first can crack all of our passwords, all of our encryption, every secret we have on the planet. China and the US are in an arms race to build it right now. I've seen the AI computer that's building the quantum computer. It's in Maryland, right near where I live. And our hope is that the US and IBM figure it out before anybody else. So that's where AI has taken us now, to the race to quantum computing. And basically why quantum computing can break all our secrets. Right now we encrypt passwords, we encrypt data with really fancy math. And so it takes about 333 years to work the math problem backwards to break in. With a quantum computer, that takes 0.12 seconds. You take 333 years down to 1.2 seconds. And I don't say this to terrify you, but you need to know where we're headed. And this is where we're headed right now. I was asked to speak at a big technical conference in Baltimore yesterday about quantum computing and AI to business leaders from all over the country, and that's what they're scared about.
So they're headed to suicide. Suicide.
We'll see. I mean, the cat's out of the bag now. There's not much we can do. None of us can stop it, so.
How far out do you think that is?
There's so mixed, wildly variable differences in what people say. I believe that after what I saw 3 weeks ago, we're way farther than I thought we were. I'd say we're probably 4 years out. In the real world, 4 years out. So we're trying to get ahead of it. I help work with NIST, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technology, the U.S. government, to write the quantum encryption standard for the future. It has been written, it has been published, but you can't run that encryption unless you have a quantum computer. So it's like the chicken and the egg scenario, right? We've got encryption built to protect us from quantum machines, but we can't run the encryption without a quantum machine, which we don't have. Because the encryption set is so large, the number set and the problems are so large, our computers nowadays can't handle that kind of data. So we have safeguards for something that we don't even have. It's pretty tough.
Could it determine the launch codes and start a nuclear war?
If they, I mean, your worst worry about that is not the AI, that's people that'll figure that out. So the systems that, and like I said, I did nuclear asset security for years. So the systems that protect launch codes, nuclear weapons and all that, they are directly disconnected from the internet at almost all times. Those systems do not come online without a kill switch being engaged and two separate people that have to have very high level authority. Like that stuff's never stored anywhere connected to the internet for these very reasons, for sure. You want it, it's called air gap. So we call them air gap. So basically like all your networks are always connected to the internet. High level weapon systems are not. They stay permanently air gapped from the internet. They're inside of Faraday cages, like their controllers are in what's called Faraday cages, so you can't wirelessly connect to them. Yeah, we started doing that when I was like 97, when I was in the military. Crazy that 19-year-old kids were gonna build this stuff, right? Good thing we were smart. And again, the men and women that are protecting us from this stuff, like, yeah, we need the guys with the guns and the special forces and all that. It's absolutely necessary. But nobody's gonna storm our beaches in America like they did Normandy. It's a suicide mission. You wouldn't even make it close. What are they doing? They're attacking us over the infrastructure, right? They're attacking our water grids, our power. They're trying to attack power generation. They're trying to attack banking systems, right? They're trying to attack phone systems. And no, that AT&T outage was not a cyber attack. That was a network engineer that didn't know what he was doing. I said to Susan Hammer, like, cyber attack. I'm like, no, somebody borked a setting somewhere. The guy'd been up till 4 in the morning trying to work on something. He probably fell asleep on his keyboard. He actually did it at 2:56 in the morning, so I was close. But the biggest protection we have right now is the various cyber defenses in this country. Air Force Cyber Command, Naval Cyber Command, Army Cyber Command, CIA, DHS, FBI, all these people have cyber resources now. There is a constant battle going on against nation-state threat actors trying to take down massive systems in this country. And the beauty of this, so you're not super terrified, is we're using AI on our side to fight it off, right? This has its good uses too. I can point this stuff at big computer systems we have, and it can run through these systems all day and look for signs of intrusion, look for signs of threat, look for signs of attack that a person could never figure out, right? Because it can correlate a billion things from different angles. So we have software now that will spit out to me and say, Chris, one of your customers had somebody breach here, here, and here. Instantly. Stuff that you wouldn't have seen years ago, right? Because, and when I mean a breach, the hardest ones to find are when the user lets them in, right? The user answers an email, gives them passwords, lets them right in the network. Well, there's no way for us to know that because it looks like they're a real user. The AI can see in the background that there's some things happening that shouldn't, and you're notified almost instantly, and you kick them out, it's like it didn't happen. Without that AI, you might not have known for 2 months. So we're definitely using machine learning and AI on the security and IT side. At Advantage, we're very forward thinking on this. You saw the Microsoft I showed you, we are a Microsoft Enterprise partner. We are fully trained and brought to speed on all their AI tools and everything. So Patrick and his guys here can help us get you in contact with me or anybody in the company. And the last thing I'll say, we do trainings like this for free. So if you all have a business or an organization where you want to do security training on cybersecurity or technology training or whatever, we offer that to this community because you guys have supported us since we've been here. So I can come in and do trainings like this for you as well, just to help get people up to speed. The one we start with typically is basic cybersecurity instruction. We bring it down and translate it so people understand it. Yes, ma'am.
A few months ago, I think, when there was the call that people were getting from the President of the United States.
Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, how is that legal, number one? But we can make this video, we can make this audio, but we can't figure out who developed it?
Well, that's the problem is, again, all the data about it is in what's called metadata in the background. So once they make it, if they scrub all that and just say this is an MP4 and there's no other data attached to it, then there's no way to know where it came from. It could have come from Kazakhstan or, the other problem too is even if you know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Are you gonna go to Senegal and arrest 6 people? No. So that's the problem. And you'll never be able to trust the internet because there's no worldwide internet police.
So at what point does the bad outweigh the good here?
It's been a constant fight for as long as we've had technology. We get better, they get better. We get better, they get better. It's just, we all have access to the same tech. So it's true cyber warfare. The scary part is, this isn't 16-year-old hacker in the basement in his hoodie, right? This is organized crime. This is nation state attacks. The people I fight off know what I know. There's 2 guys that were in the U.S. Naval Nuclear School with me that know everything I know, that both went on to deploy ransomware for years, and now they're both millionaires living expats in other countries on the beach. They know what I know. They were trained like I was by the best in the world. That's what we're up against. Because if you don't have morals, I could go right now, I guarantee you I could make $10 million before this year's over just serving out ransomware. But that's not who I am. But there's a bunch of people that know things that I know that do that. Right? So that's the problem. So you'll always have the bad. One of the things that helps is we've got so much more funding now through government programs. Like in the last 2 years, the U.S. government has drastically changed funding for cyber programs, funding for cyber initiatives. Like the U.S. is on top of it better than any country right now to try to protect from this, like by light years. And so that's how you make the bad not outweigh the good, is you stay ahead of it and you fight it all.
In the last 3 months, I was in Phoenix, I saw taxis that are Ubers that are driverless.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen at Menards a machine cleaning the floors without anybody running it.
Absolutely.
McDonald's and places like that test marketing robots that deliver your food to your table. How far away are we from things like robots actually like interacting with us and like, you know, for example, Rosie from the Jetsons? Like, I was like, I'm curious how far.
Pretty close. When I lived in DC, you got 9 restaurants in DC that have robot waiters already. You can tell if you want a water, a Coke, or whatever, it's gonna go to the back, somebody's gonna, and it's bringing stuff to your table. There's one a block from Richie's house in the town we live in. So you're not that far off really, and people are gonna start using it more and more for automation. Here's the thing. People are like, oh, it's gonna take all these jobs and everybody's gonna end up jobless. No, it's just a shift in where the jobs are, right? And they're better paying jobs. Would you rather be the person that's serving that food in West Virginia, what's the minimum wage, $8 an hour or something? Or would you rather be the person who's programming, the 20 people that program that thing that all make $75,000 a year now, right? So, now you've gotta get people educated, right? That's where we're struggling here in West Virginia. We work for the K-12 school system, they're getting much better. When I say we struggle, we all know what the statistics are, right? The best thing we can do for the children in this state is educate them in technology. I don't care where you're from, I don't care if you have a country accent like me, born in the woods in White Oak, West Virginia. It's the great equalizer now. If you have an education in technology, you can make your way in this world. And that's what we have to understand, is we have to start educating our people, our workforce. And this is actually, as many jobs as you think it'll take away, it's actually creating more. And so it's just that shift. And I know it's hard, I mean, it's a new thing for all of us. I've been doing it forever. There's days I sit there and I'm like, my gosh, this is terrifying. But the more we know, right? What's that old saying? It's not like wine, it doesn't improve with age. So the more you know faster and get this process and start to deal with it, the better equipped you'll be.
In the law enforcement sector, like, how invalid will like security cameras even be, as far as like, people stealing things or whatever, because, at what point will that not even be taken into consideration with courts and stuff, because AI could have altered the images and things? Have you started seeing any of that, like where there's been an instance where maybe there was video footage of a robbery and then all of a sudden they claimed that it was AI and it wasn't them and it maybe worked?
You can't claim that. So everything in a court of law or in any type of police work is chain of custody and evidence, right? Then the chain of custody of that evidence. And we sell a bunch of advanced camera systems into police forces, cities here. All that stuff has metadata in the background. All that stuff has an audit trail that I can say, based off the actual data that a forensic analyst can look at and say it was recorded here at this time, it did this, it did this. That's the one thing that's hard to fake, is that metadata from the system that created it. And so that's the thing, if you take that to court, somebody says that's a fake, you can be like, well, no, here's the metadata, it was recorded here, it went to here, it went to here. We can trace it through every hop. And so any forensic analysis is gonna be like, yes, that's real. Now, if you bring a piece of evidence and you can't produce that forensic trail, then somebody like me could easily be like, we don't know if that's real or not. So if it is real, you need to be able to produce that forensic evidence and that analysis in the background showing how. And if you can't, then it shouldn't be trusted.
I would say it's actually the opposite, that's actually gonna help with those kinds of things.
Oh, it does.
We do economic development in Shinston, and we have a camera system being ready to be put in place that if we were to get a child abduction alert, and we know that it was a silver whatever, these cameras are gonna be able to follow that car and find it wherever it is, as long as it's within range of those cameras.
And most of this region's doing that. I mean, you've got them in Clarksburg, Bridgeport. You guys, I mean, you all been very forward thinking in this region of the state and have very advanced AI camera systems that can do all that. You already have artificial intelligence camera systems that we've put in. You've heard about Verkada that we've put in different places. That is fully backed by a very high level, very protected artificial intelligence system that works off the back end of DALL-E and ChatGPT of what I've already shown you. So that's another real world application of where this is. And like he said, it can actually help protect you, because what happens is the AI can see things in the cameras you would never see. So we can say a guy just robbed this store with a green hat, a red shirt, and blue shoes. We don't even need his face. We can go in that camera system and say, I want to see everywhere in the city this guy with this red hat, green jacket, blue shoes was. You know how long it would take us? Take our police officer, how long would that take you to dig through that data? Right, you know, think about it. But now the machine can spit it out, and guess what happens? Instead of them having to dig through all these data sets, well, this guy's who knows where, they've got the data set in 20 seconds, and now they're like, this guy literally is a mile and a half away at 7-Eleven. So there are good uses for it, and that's the data that's provable. I'm up against time, you're probably ready to run me out of here.
I think everybody's enjoying the topic.
I know we want to get you guys out of here by 9:30 though, it's 9:21, so, I know you got a couple things to say as well.
And you spoke about wine, so we are going to present a new
I'll be back every month. Thank you all, though. I hope this was informative. Like I said, Patrick and his office are here. I'm our security director. I cover all of our territories. Feel free to reach out to us, but thank you for letting us be here. We're happy